Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about whether or not it's okay for the police to just look for a reason to pull you over. This is Christina Williams with Just Criminal Law.
And David Mann, legal storytelling specialist. I assume it's not always okay for the police to just pull you over, right?
Right. So what we're talking about here are pretextual stops. Those are stops where law enforcement has a reason to believe, maybe a hunch that you might be violating the law, but they're not certain. And so they follow you until they find a reason to pull you over.
Yeah, that really does not sound right. What's an example of how this may have happened in your experience?
Well, sure. We have a case right now where law enforcement believes that my client is involved in some illegal activity. They believe he might have a large amount of marijuana in his vehicle, and they've received a tip along this line. And so they end up following him around, and it's wintertime, and they can't quite, he's not, speeding, he's not failing to stop at a stop sign or failing to use his blinker. But as they drive around, snow is accumulating on his license plate, and pretty soon they stop him because his license plate is covered by the snow. So we're trying to fight that, saying this was a pretextual stop.
Okay, so far it sounds like they had reason to stop him, but you're saying there was a pretext. In other words, why they stopped him was not really why they stopped him. Is that right?
Right. I mean, just because they have a hunch that he might have marijuana in his car doesn't mean they can just stop him. You have to violate the law before they can pull you over. Now, in this particular case, they had contact with the particular client many times in the past. So they knew who he was. They knew what kind of vehicle he drove. They could run on their computer and check to see whether his registration was expired or not. They knew who he was. They really didn't need to know what his license plate number was, because they could already identify and put to rest any of those usual reasons they might stop someone, say for instance if your registration or your tags are expired. That wasn't the whole story here. And so they were just fishing. They were just looking for a reason to stop him to see if he had drugs in his car. That's not okay.
Okay, and so they were ready with a big search when they stopped him?
Right, so he drives around town, they follow him. Pretty soon his license plate is covered in snow, and so it seems that law enforcement may have created the situation, and so we're asking the court, because in fact he did have marijuana in his car and he did get arrested and charged with a serious felony. We're going to ask the court to look at what happened and see if it was really fair.
Okay, so it always sounds to me in things like this that, well, if he did have drugs in his car, then wasn't that for the best that he got stopped in the light of sort of the larger context of the law?
Well, I would say that, stopping him and saying, well, they found drugs, that's okay, that's actually the smaller picture. The big picture here is we need to look at, everybody has this Fourth Amendment right to privacy. And, if we allow the government to overreach, that is, create these situations to stop and search your vehicle, then we're eroding the Constitution. That government overreach is really what we need to protect against, so that all of us maintain our right to privacy. In this particular case, yes, this individual was in possession of illegal drugs, but does that justify law enforcement in doing something they shouldn't have done and violate his Fourth Amendment right against privacy and conduct this unreasonable stop and then search his vehicle? It's really that bigger picture that we need to protect against, and that's the important thing to take away from this.
Yeah, that sounds like you're actually fighting for the much larger picture here. So if someone needs an attorney like you to do this for them, how do they get in touch with you?
We'll include a link in the description where they can call, text, or chat with a member of my team anytime, day or night. Here at Just Criminal Law, we know you only get one shot at justice, so make yours count.